Before we dive into one of the most dramatic, most shocking, and honestly most disappointing stories coming out of professional tennis right now, I need you to hit that subscribe button immediately. Because what I'm about to reveal about what's happening behind the scenes in the WTA is going to blow your mind. We're talking about jealousy, we're talking about pettiness, we're talking about a pattern of toxic behavior that has been allowed to fester for far too long. And at the center of it all is a friendship that apparently some people just cannot stand to see. Alex EALA and Zeynep Sönmez are back together. They're hanging out, laughing, showing genuine love and affection for each other. And according to multiple reports and sources close to the situation, Aryna Sabalenka absolutely cannot withstand it anymore. That's right. The friendship between these two young tennis stars is apparently too much for Sabalenka to handle. After weeks of rumors and wild speculation that EALA and Sönmez had a massive falling out following their intense Abu Dhabi Open match last month, here they are proving every single doubter wrong. They're closer than ever. They're supporting each other. They're showing the entire tennis world what true sportsmanship looks like. And apparently, that is a massive problem for certain people who didn't want to see them together in the first place. Now let me take you back to that Abu Dhabi Open match because understanding what happened on the court makes what's happening off the court even more remarkable. This wasn't some casual first-round blowout. This was an intense, competitive battle between two talented young players who left everything on that court. EALA came out on top, defeating Sönmez in straight sets, but the match itself was absolutely no walk in the park. Every game was fought for. Every point mattered. In the first set, EALA jumped out to a quick 3-1 lead, and for a moment it looked like she was going to dominate the entire match. But Sönmez wasn't having any of that. She's a fighter. She dug in, raised her level, and won the next two games to tie it up at 3-all. The momentum was shifting dramatically. You could feel the tension building. But EALA, showing the mental toughness she's been developing over the past few years, broke the tie and surged ahead to 5-3. Sönmez managed to capitalize on a double fault to win another game and keep herself in the set, but EALA stayed composed under pressure and closed it out at 6-4. The second set was just as competitive and just as intense. EALA started strong once again, racing to a commanding 3-love lead. At that point, you would think the match was essentially over, right? Most players would have packed it in mentally. But these two incredible competitors kept trading service breaks back and forth. The level of tennis was absolutely incredible to watch. At 5-3 with EALA serving for the match, Sönmez unleashed a powerful forehand that forced a deuce and gave her a chance to break back and potentially turn the entire set around. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. But then Sönmez went for another aggressive forehand attack trying to take control of the point, and it sailed just wide, giving EALA the match and the hard-fought victory. Now here's where the story gets really interesting and where we start to see the true character of these young players. After a battle like that, after such a competitive and heated encounter where emotions are running high and both players desperately wanted to win, you would expect maybe some tension between them, right? Maybe some distance, maybe some cooling off period. A lot of people, especially people who apparently didn't want to see these two succeed together, were spreading stories everywhere that EALA and Sönmez must have had a falling out after the match. The rumors were flying all over social media, on tennis forums, in group chats. People were saying they had this massive fight backstage and weren't friends anymore. But here's the thing that has everyone talking now and has apparently gotten under certain people's skin in a major way. Not only are those rumors completely and utterly false, but Alex EALA and Zeynep Sönmez are showing the entire tennis world what true sportsmanship and genuine friendship actually look like. This friendship between them is something truly special, something the sport desperately needs more of. Alex EALA has shown time and time again throughout her young career that she has a heart of gold. She's been incredibly close to Zeynep, even when they're competing against each other at the highest level in professional tournaments. Think about how difficult that is. Think about the maturity and emotional intelligence that requires. To be able to completely separate the intense competition on the court from the genuine friendship off the court, that takes a special kind of person. That takes character and integrity that you simply cannot teach or manufacture. EALA absolutely loves Zeynep's energy and vibes. And you can see it in the way they interact with each other. It's genuine. It's authentic. It's real. There's no fakeness, no pretending for the cameras. This is what the sport needs more of. And Zeynep feels exactly the same way about Alex. In fact, Sanmez has even invited EALA to visit her in Turkey, and they've been joking around together on social media about all the amazing things they're going to do when they go there. How wholesome and beautiful is that? Two young athletes competing at the absolute highest level of professional tennis, but still maintaining a genuine friendship and actively supporting each other through the ups and downs of this brutal sport. This is what sports should be fundamentally about, right? Intense competition when you're on the court, giving everything you have to win, and then camaraderie, friendship, and mutual respect when you walk off that court. But apparently, not everyone sees it that way. And that brings us to the truly disappointing part of this story. According to multiple reports and sources with direct knowledge of the situation, Aryna Sabalenka has a serious problem with all of this. Now look, let me be clear about something right from the start. We all know Sabalenka is a top player. She's incredibly talented. She's won big tournaments and Grand Slams. Nobody is denying her skill or her achievements on the tennis court. But there has been this disturbing pattern emerging over the past year or so, and it's not a good look for someone of her stature in the sport. Sabalenka apparently has a serious problem with seeing other players in the WTA showing love, support, and genuine friendship for each other. Whether it's Coco Gauff, Elena Rybakina, or now Alex EALA and Zeynep Sanmez, Sabalenka apparently cannot handle it when the spotlight isn't solely focused on her. Sources close to the situation are saying that Sabalenka doesn't like the amount of attention that Alex EALA is getting, and that's actually putting it mildly. It has been reported that Sabalenka actually got offended yesterday just from watching Zeynep and Alex together, being friends, supporting each other, laughing and having genuine fun together even after their competitive match in Abu Dhabi. Think about that for just a second. Let that sink in. She's reportedly upset that two players who just competed fiercely against each other are still friends afterward. What kind of mentality is that? What does that say about someone's character and their ability to handle seeing other players receive recognition and build positive relationships in the sport? And here's the thing that makes this even more troubling. This isn't the first time we've seen this kind of behavior pattern from Sabalenka. Not by a long shot. Remember when Coco Gauff beat her in that incredible match? Instead of being gracious in defeat, instead of giving credit where credit was absolutely due and acknowledging Gauff's incredible performance, what did Sabalenka do? She dismissed it entirely. She claimed that Gauff's victory wasn't because of Gauff's skill, talent, or preparation, but simply because Sabalenka herself didn't play well that particular day. Can you believe that? That's not just making excuses after a tough loss, which every athlete does occasionally. That's outright disrespectful to your opponent. It completely undermines the hard work, the dedication, the countless hours of training, and the genuine talent of your opponents. It's basically saying that their achievements don't actually matter, that they only win when you have an off day. That mindset is toxic, and it's one that tries to diminish the accomplishments of other players to protect your own ego from having to acknowledge that maybe, just maybe, someone else was simply better than you on that day. In Sabalenka's own words after losing to Gauff, she said that Gauff won the match not because she played incredible tennis, but just because Sabalenka made all those mistakes, like easy balls from the outside perspective. Do you hear what she's saying there? She's literally unable to give her opponent credit for playing well. Everything has to be framed as her own failure rather than someone else's success. That's a deeply problematic way of viewing competition. But here's the beautiful thing, the part of this story that gives me hope for the future of tennis. Neither Coco Gauff nor Alex EALA are giving Sabalenka the attention she apparently desperately craves and needs. They're focused on their own games, their own careers, their own development as players and people. They're supporting their fellow competitors and building positive relationships across the tour. They're not getting dragged down into negativity or pettiness. They're rising above it and letting their tennis and their character do the talking. And let's talk about Alex EALA's remarkable rise for a minute because her trajectory has been nothing short of extraordinary. She's broken into the top 40 in the WTA rankings and she's moving up comfortably with no signs of slowing down. At the rate she's going, at the level she's playing, it's only a matter of time before she cracks the top 10. And when that happens, and mark my words it will happen, it's going to be absolutely fascinating to see how certain people react to that achievement. Even though EALA hasn't won a Grand Slam yet, even though she's still relatively early in her professional career, she's already massively famous and gaining incredible amounts of attention from fans all over the world. Do you remember the Australian Open earlier this year? People from all over the globe traveled to Australia specifically to watch her play. Filipinos living in Australia, Filipino communities from across Asia, even fans from Europe and the Americas came to support her. And she wasn't even in the top 30 in the rankings at that time. That's the kind of influence and star power Alex EALA has. She can pack stadiums with her exciting style of play and her genuine, authentic personality. She's genuinely loved by fans everywhere she goes. Meanwhile, and I'm just going to say this because it needs to be said, some players apparently have to resort to screaming on the court and creating drama just to get attention and keep themselves relevant in the news cycle. The contrast between those two approaches to the sport couldn't be more clear or more stark. In EALA's own words after the Australian Open, she talked about how the turnout had grown significantly from the previous year. She said she was so happy to see that environment and energy, and that when people are excited to see her on court, it's flattering and makes her feel welcome. That's humility. That's grace. That's the kind of attitude that makes fans want to support you even more. And the disturbing pattern with Sabalenka continues beyond just these recent incidents. She has a documented history of calling her opponents small or diminishing their status as players after losses. After she lost a WTA final last year, reports and sources suggested that Sabalenka was heard making inappropriate and allegedly racial comments about Elena Rybakina. She reportedly expressed frustration that Rybakina won the match and suggested it wasn't deserved, that Rybakina didn't actually earn the victory. When that story broke and started spreading through the tennis community, things spiraled quickly. Sabalenka's alleged comments sparked outrage across social media and among players on the tour. And Rybakina, to her credit, wasn't backing down or staying quiet. She called out Sabalenka publicly for her behavior. She even called out the WTA for allowing this kind of toxic conduct to continue unchecked without real consequences. It became crystal clear to everyone paying attention that this wasn't just an isolated incident or a one-time lapse in judgment. This kind of conduct had apparently surfaced from Sabalenka multiple times before. Now it seems like history is repeating itself and she's trying to spread negativity and hatred against Alex EALA. But here's what Sabalenka and anyone else engaging in this kind of behavior needs to understand. You cannot do this to someone who has made it entirely on her own merit through her own hard work, dedication, and sacrifice. Not through any shortcuts, not through special treatment, not through help from influential people. Alex EALA has earned every single bit of her success through her natural talent, her incredible determination, her unbelievable work ethic, and her commitment to improving every single day. No amount of jealousy from other players, no amount of negativity or behind-the-scenes drama, no amount of attempts to diminish her accomplishments is going to change that reality or take away what she has earned. The tennis world sees what's happening. Fans see it. Other players see it. And they're rallying behind EALA because they recognize authentic talent and genuine character when they see it. What we're seeing play out in real time here is a clear divide in how different generations and different types of players approach the game and their relationships with fellow competitors. On one side, you have young players like EALA and Sanmez who understand that tennis is fiercely competitive on the court, but that doesn't mean you can't be supportive, kind, and genuine friends away from the court. They're showing maturity and emotional intelligence beyond their years. They're setting an example for how the sport should evolve in the modern era. They understand that someone else's success doesn't diminish your own achievements. On the other side, there seems to be an old mentality, a toxic way of thinking that views every single interaction through the lens of competition and ego, where friendships between players are somehow seen as threats, where another player's success is treated like a personal attack on your own legacy, where acknowledgement of an opponent's skill is treated like weakness or capitulation. That's not the future of tennis that fans want to see. That's not the direction the sport should be heading. The world has moved beyond that kind of thinking, and professional tennis needs to move beyond it too. Alex EALA's journey in professional tennis is just beginning, and if her trajectory continues the way it has been going, we are looking at a future Grand Slam champion and a future top 10 player, possibly even a future number 1. Her ability to maintain her character, her friendships, her positive attitude, and her grace under pressure while climbing the rankings and dealing with increased scrutiny is what makes her so incredibly special as both a player and a person. She's not just winning matches and climbing rankings. She's winning hearts. She's inspiring young players all over the world, especially in the Philippines and throughout Southeast Asia, showing them that you can make it to the highest levels of professional tennis while still being a good person, while still maintaining your friendships, while still treating people with respect and kindness. And that's something that can't be manufactured or bought or created through a public relations campaign. It's authentic, it comes from within, and people respond to that authenticity in a powerful and emotional way. The friendship between EALA and Sonmez is a beautiful reminder that at the end of the day, these are young women pursuing their dreams on the biggest stages in tennis. And they don't have to tear each other down to build themselves up. They can celebrate each other's victories with genuine happiness. They can support each other through defeats and difficult moments. And they can still compete at the absolute highest level with maximum intensity when they step onto the court and cross the net from each other. That's the true definition of sportsmanship, and it's something the entire tennis world should embrace and celebrate rather than trying to tear down out of jealousy or insecurity. So while some players apparently can't handle seeing young stars shine and build positive relationships, Alex EALA and Zeynep Sonmez are going to keep being themselves. They're going to keep supporting each other. They're going to keep showing the world what the future of tennis should look like. And no amount of negativity or toxicity from anyone is going to change that or slow them down. If this story resonated with you, if you believe in supporting positive sportsmanship and calling out toxic behavior when you see it, then smash that like button right now. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think about this situation. Do you think the WTA needs to do more to address this kind of behavior? Are you inspired by the friendship between EALA and Sonmez? What do you think Alex EALA's future holds in professional tennis? And make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on because we're going to continue following this story and bringing you updates on everything happening in the world of tennis. This is the kind of story that matters, and you're not going to want to miss what happens next. Let's support the players who represent the best of